slot 1. Okay.
Okay. Let's get to the first impressions in terms of what slot 2 was. The first is in terms of VARC section. It was of course similar to last year, exactly actually in terms of structure. So we had 34 questions, 6 RCs and 10 verbal questions. My take on verbal was this, that for some reason I am decided to stick on to paragraph jumble without any option, and I believe there were about 3 to 4 questions on para jumble without any option, which is more
4 para jumbles without choices.
4 para jumble without choices in my slot. I think in your slot it was 3. I think, no, GP?
No, same.
Okay.
So
4
3
para jumble
summary
without
and
choices.
3 odd statement.
So the VRC in terms of verbal, the structure was same in morning slot and evening slot. And again, the problem with para jumble with 5 answer choices with no, 5 statements with no answer choices is actually wastage of 4 questions. And even if you look at summary based questions, these summaries were one-line summary, which means one had to have a complete understanding of the paragraph, then get to know the answer. And odd sentence in a sequence, again painful. So to me, if I look at these 10 questions, even though there were no negative marking for these questions, it was a bit painful in the sense that there were para jumble questions. Also summaries were something that you would have found it really hard to eliminate. With respect to reading comprehension, all the passages were easy to read, not very difficult to read, though questions, at least every one question each in every single passage at least forced you to think critically. Barring that, my take is this is a paper that attempt would have been really high. I am sure that would have been the case with morning slot as well as GP.
Absolutely right, Jijo. It was similar. But we'll go into the details of VRC in the next slide. What are your highlights for DILR and Quant?
So DILR highlight is DI was to me, I don't know what word to use. All the questions were unfamiliar, and there was that one question on set theory which was there, which probably was the only question, maybe one more, but that was a question which you would have been used to solving. The rest of the questions required R&D. So in that sense, I believe, and to me there were 3 doable sets completely. These would be easy to moderate kind of sets, but the challenge would be to actually find that set, and we have the patience to solve the set. So I'll not be surprised if there is a serious drop in terms of cutoff score in this particular section.
Okay.
With QA, there was quite a few distribution of questions across all the areas. The questions were not so straightforward as it was in last year. Nevertheless, you could find probably I think about 15 questions which were straightforward ones. The rest really tested your logic. So in terms of difficulty level compared to last year, this section was slightly more difficult. But I believe that they still maintain the difficulty level from morning to evening.
Yeah, just to add to what Jijo is saying, Quant in the morning and evening is possibly almost the same. There might be a difference of 1 odd question between the morning and the afternoon slot, but not too much of a difference. See, I would say the same thing about 12 to 15 doable question and the balance question. You need to have your logic in place, and those of you who would apply SQC would have solved at least 10 questions in the morning slot using SQC, and which would have helped you allowed you to attempt a few extra questions. Yeah, Jijo?
Same in the evening slot. I think there is a lot of people who have been asking with respect to whether the paper got leaked. Okay, so let me just address that before we go to the next slide, because you keep asking. So so the last time the paper was actually leaked was in 2003, and when the paper got leaked, there was an organized leakage that happened, which means somebody got the paper, gave it to people, took money. So there was a crime that happened. So from what I've seen is obviously it's pretty sad to see what I've seen today. What I've seen, at least there is a clear evidence in terms of the snapshot of the test being posted. But what it seems to suggest is, from so far what I've seen, it is an act of one person. So if at all the action would be taken against that person or whoever is involved. I don't see a large scale leak that has happened. So I would not be surprised if if the authorities would just take action on those individuals. And please understand, if the leak impacts the overall score of the students, then that'll be something. Obviously, they'll be forced to do something. From so far, what I've seen is it's an act of one crazy guy.
Yeah, it seems to be some faculty member in a particular coaching institute has done it. I don't have the names, but this is what I have heard. And frankly, I will agree with Jijo. I don't think this is an organized, large-scale thing. It is someone trying to create a buzz for himself. That I went, I took the paper, see it is there, and doing something stupid. I don't think it will lead to cancellation of the paper of the second slot. But yes, you can definitely expect strong action against the person who's done it. Okay. Yeah, let's move to the next slide, Jijo.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Sure. So let's go to first the overall picture. In terms of attempts, Jijo, if you would want to add something to this.
This is fair. I think a good attempt. When I say good attempt, I'm sure all of you would have attempted the 10 questions of verbal.
Yeah.
I think this is a paper where verbal.
Let me just add to that. This means genuine attempts, genuine good attempts.
Okay.
Not the you don't know the parajables, you mark an answer. They are not counted here.
Okay, so a good attempt would be, I think, genuine attempt to me, verbal section would be about 5. I think that you will attempt probably all the passages. That's about, I think, 18, 23, 25. Okay, this seems to be pretty good. Somebody who's really good would get the. Seems to be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was the same for the morning slot also. Maybe a couple of questions on the higher side. But normally the issue which we face as far as verbal and reading comprehension is concerned, that when students are 50, 60, 70% sure, even then they mark an answer. In quant typically, or in DILR, you will typically not mark an answer if you don't get a correct answer choice. So which is why typically you'll find that verbal good attempts goes to a slightly higher number most of the time. Yeah, John, to DILR.
Okay, DILR to me is 13 to 15 would be somebody who's really done well, I think, in the paper attempt.
In fact, let me just add, this is what would be true for morning slot. For afternoon slot, it is likely to be 11 to 13.
Yeah. So basically, I could find 11, 13 would be a really good attempt with a reasonably good accuracy. So somebody who's gotten past 2 sets should be safe. At least to clear the cutoff.
Actually, if I just add to this, in the afternoon slot, 12 questions, if you do 3 sets, you will definitely be greater than 95 percentile. And this means obviously you will get a 1 or 2 wrong. So if you attempt 3 sets or 12 questions, and these are genuine attempts, you will definitely be more than 95 percentile. Could be higher also, but this is a very, very safe number to look at. In the morning slot, it might be a couple of questions higher, and which is what is getting reflected here. That morning slot, a good attempt or a very good attempt is 13 to 15, while in the afternoon slot, we are talking about 11 to 13. And a good attempt means typically to ensure more than 95 percentile.
All right, great. And QA seems to be fine, about more than 95 percentile. Would be about 22 to 25, yeah, maybe even.
And this is possibly on the upper edge for the morning slot. For afternoon slot, this might just be there, or maybe a question short. But the morning slot appears to be just about a question more difficult as compared to afternoon slot. But that is again going to be a little subjective. Anything you would want to add to this, Jijo? Overall, while it says 68 to 72, I would say 65 to 70 is perfectly fine to me.
Yeah. Yes, so we are going to each section, no, after this, or
we are going section by section.
Okay, so then I'll discuss further.
Sure. Okay. The reading comprehension part.
So here in this paper, actually, if you want to look at what happened to me, I actually took the test like I want to take like a student. So the first thing I started hunting was I couldn't find the question paper button. Really sad. And I spent about 2 minutes trying to figure out where it was. So finally, when I got it, I hit the question paper button. First of all, I could see only half the screen. And then the next thing that I see is there was no demarcation between RC and VA. That was very painful, and it actually went from RC, and suddenly there is some VA question. So finally, what I thought is the best strategy would be to chuck everything and keep looking at one question at a time. So just keep leaving out paragraph jumble. When that happened, when you look at RC, so there were these 5 passages. If you look at these passages, nothing great, no tough passage on philosophy or literature or art. They were in different subjects though. But these passages were pretty easy to read. It was not even big as well. So I think maximum was about 3 paragraphs. And there were, and then when you looked at these questions in every passage, what I felt was there was probably 1, or if there are 6 question passage, maybe 2, which probably would have posted you a little bit of challenge. But if barring, let's say, assuming that you leave out those questions, that is about 4, 5, 6 questions, remaining for the 24th, about 18 is what I think would have been a good attempt. 18 there, and about 5 from verbal. That's about 23, about 69. That I think would be about 98 percentile plus. So that's where I think RC is. Yeah.
Right. And it's exactly the same for morning slot also. Typically, to me the issue was, if you read the passage carefully, those 1 or 2 tricky questions could be handled comfortably. If you decided to skim the passage and try answering, then you will definitely have a trouble in that. Okay, let's move to the next slide, the verbal part. Jijo, anything specific out here?
Well, I've got serious grip with I am now. Okay, I don't know when will they stop this nonsense of paragraph jumbles without any option.
Actually, frankly, Jijo, to me this is a very stupid question type, because this question type hardly anyone would get it right, and whoever gets it right has to be plain simple lucky to get it right. And hence you cannot differentiate students based on this question type. I think they are being stupid to continue with this.
So what I felt out of this 4 paragraph jumble question, not that I couple of them were tricky in terms of subject, couple of them were not very, but actually not difficult in terms of subject. But even then, you will probably figure out 4 connections, and you want to find out where to put the 1. So your best case scenario would be, if you can get a couple of them correct, that will be the best case scenario.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you get anything more than this, it will be absolutely awesome. But that's where I'm looking at. On a higher side, about 2 sets. Paragraph summary questions. The paragraphs were pretty straightforward, not so difficult. The only challenge was each of the answer choice were 1 sentence only. So when you have, 1 line. When you have more data, it probably would have been easy to eliminate. Here it was, they were trying to test you exactly your understanding of the passage. That would have made it a little challenging.
Yeah.
Odd man in the sequence is the same story. So in these 10, I believe if you're lucky about 1 para jumble, summary you can still, if you read it carefully, you could have got about a couple of them correct, and paragraph jumble probably about another 2. So anything more than 5 will be awesome. 5 would be safe. So finally it boils down to your accuracy in this section, I'm sure, and the fact that you should have attempted all the RCs. And this was a paper you could have attempted all the RCs.
Actually, I am sure no one in the second slot would also have faced time constraint. In the morning slot, there was no time constraint. I could comfortably finish the entire paper, including these stupid para jumbles, in something like 55, 56 minutes. But as I said, para jumbles is a lottery for me. As far as I am concerned, I did these first, then I went to RC, and then finally I went to para jumble. I completely agree with you. Para jumble odd statement, you'll possibly get 2 out of 3 right. Summary, you can get all 3 also, but you'll definitely get 3. And whatever you get here is a pure bonus as far as I am concerned. RC, all 24 will possibly be attempted by most of the students, and you'll get anything from 18 to 21, let's say, right. Okay, and that is what possibly comes out in the second slot also. Anything else, Jijo?
Yeah, so good. So while the higher percentile will score really well, but I think that still about 90%, 85 percentile would be very slightly lesser than I think last year. What might
we'll be covering the percentile cutoffs in the end.
Okay, sure.
Right. Yeah. So DILR.
Oh, this was maddening. The first thing, of course, was to figure out which are the. I think this would have happened to everyone, trying to figure out which DILR set you want to start off with, and first is to figure out what is a DI question, what is an LR question. There was no demarcation. So that was one challenge. And every single question that you see, you immediately know that you have to figure out the complete story, then you can answer the question. And to me, there was that one set on alphabets. Though it looked very dangerous, that was a set that could have been done, all the four questions. And somebody who has got basic understanding of set theory, the question on set theory, these two sets, I believe, are the sets, about 8 questions, which would be enough.
Jijo, are you talking about coding decoding, the alphabet one?
Yeah, I'm talking about the alphabet.
So these two are the easy ones.
Yeah, those two are the easy ones. The only problem with both of them is at least the alphabet one looks very dangerous. Looks dangerous with C0, C1, C2 things marked there. But if you plunge into it, you would have nailed it. And you just have to write all the alphabet down. It won't take much time also. And you can just have to count and get that set. So that was one set which would have been easy, and the set theory, the sets were also not complicated. Though because there was a huge text and one more short table, it was looking, so it was very deceptive in the sense. The easy questions were looking difficult, and the difficult questions were looking easy. So it was quite possible that I am trying to trap you in this particular section. So it was about moving to the next set and figuring out the 2. So to me, 2, maybe one more 3. That's where you'll be. And then if you want to get more than this, it's about probably one questions here and there.
Okay. So attempt 2 sets, and if you are lucky to find them, and then try doing a question here or there.
Yeah. So that was so my attempt. If you ask me, my attempt was actually 19.
Okay. So which sets did you attempt, Jijo? In DI, which are the sets you attempted?
Which one? I attempted. I attempted
loan default. There's a salary or 3 categories.
So I attempted the set theory one. I attempted all the 4 questions of alphabets. So then from the rest of the thing, it was like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay. So quite a about 10 questions you collected from the remaining 6 sets.
Basically all HQC.
Okay. Just to add to what you're saying, if I look at the morning slot, there were 2 sets which were clearly DI, and there were 2 sets which were clearly LR. But the remaining 4 sets, frankly, I can't call them either DI or LR. There are logic also. You need to crack the logic, only then the calculation part comes in. So you had a mix of DI LR, which was half the paper. The morning slot seems to be slightly easier than the afternoon slot, wherein you could find the difference which I think is there in the morning and afternoon is, in the morning slot all sets look doable. So out of 8, you will probably say 6 to 7 look doable. Okay, but once you start doing them, you can get stuck. While in the afternoon slot, you find only 2 sets doable, and the remaining you have to hunt. Okay, so that seems to be one big difference, but the outcome in both the cases is similar. In the morning slot, if you have done 12 to 14 questions, you have done a great job. 13, maybe a 15 questions. So in the morning slot, you will do at best 4 sets, or you will do 2 sets, and then you will hunt for about 6 to 8 questions from the remaining sets. And similar thing seems to be happening in the afternoon slot also. In the morning slot, I did about 24 odd questions, 22 to 24 questions, but that was because I picked up the right data sets, and that I've always felt is the key differentiator between doing well and not doing well in DILR. Okay, let's move to quant now. Jijo, quant.
Yeah, quant was the usual suspect. You had geometry and algebra playing, and like last year, you also had a lot of arithmetic. For some strange reason, this year they allowed simple interest, compound interest. God knows why.
Yeah, compound interest was there in the morning slot also. I think 2 questions.
Yeah, so it was this section was picking the right set of questions. Right kind of when I say right, the one I think about it was not like last year. The questions looked easy, but still you had to spend little time to solve them. A few of them were very straightforward. Rest of them was not difficult, but little time consuming. So to me, yeah. So depending upon your comfort level in area, if somebody is very bad in geometry or one area, and that would be the challenge. but this was more like picking the right set of questions from every chapter.
In fact, Jijo, when I compare last year to this year's quant, last year they were direct formula-based questions were quite a large number. You could just plug in the formula and the data and you could get the answer. This time this had come down and it was something like, as you said, logic had to be applied, you had to understand the concept and they made you think a little. And from my point of view in the morning slot, I was able to do about 10 questions based on SQC techniques that we had discussed at various points of time. And that typically could have increased the attempts. For me, it was 26 attempts in quant in the morning slot, but I will attribute that purely to about 10 attempts in using SQC methods. Yeah,
I also remember the very first question that I saw had a very 75 something and 3. I don't know whether what was written was root or pi. It was
that was a problem in your paper also, because morning slot we had a weird kind of symbol in some 3 or 4 questions. I don't know whether it was a pi kind of a thing, whether there was a root. It was something. It was a kind of a mixture of the two.
So I don't know how I would treat such a question, because that was clearly that kind of dented confidence a little bit probably could have been.
Yeah.
Not sure.
That was my first question also.
Yeah, it was a pain. There was also errors, I think, in some of the questions.
In morning slot, there's definitely one question in quant and one in DI which are clearly incorrect. In one question in quant, none of the answer choices were correct, and in the DI question there were 2 choices which were correct. So there's a clear error in quant and DI, at least one question, and again we don't know how CAT is going to treat these 2 errors, or whether they'll accept there's an error or not is also a big question.
Yeah, so this CAT looked like our mock CAT. So whatever is the score of a mock CAT would be the score of the CAT.
Absolutely. In terms of attempts, I will say it would be similar. So most of the mock CATs, an attempt of about 20 to 24 was a good attempt, and that is what was visible in this particular paper also. Say about 22, 23 attempts.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So percentiles.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the estimates for slot 1 as well as slot 2. You'll find that for verbal, for both of them, we are saying that to clear the sectional cutoff, about 47 to 48 would be a reasonably safe number to get at least 85 percentile in verbal. In the
16 questions around.
16 net correct answers, yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Okay. And in DILR, morning slot 85 percentile is likely to be in the range of 25 to 27, which is about 8 to 9 correct answers. While afternoon slot is about 7 to 8 correct answers, so it is down by about 3 marks out here. And quantitative ability, both of the slots seem to be almost similar.
Yeah, so it was one of those DI wherein if you do 2 sets, you would have cleared the cutoff. If you've done 3 sets, you would have done a great job.
Right.
And then it was about keeping calm and telling yourself it is enough and going to the next section and doing it.
Yeah.
This paper. The thing that we kept on saying that to handle the DI section, whatever happens, you never know about the cutoff. This actually played it out. So yeah, so this is fair. Yeah, this looks like the bare minimum that you need in each of the section to kind of clear the cutoff of almost all the B schools.
And if you are looking at a 99 percentile, these are the expected numbers. They will definitely be updated once based on the data which you fill in the percentile predictor. Incidentally, percentile predictor is live for slot 1. Okay, percentile predictor is live for slot 1. It will be made live for slot 2 shortly.
Yeah,
so it is live. Please, those of you who are from slot 1, please check it out there. And slot 2, please keep filling up your data. We will be making it live. And the moment it is live, based on the data which you have already submitted, you will be given your percentiles. Yeah, Jijo.
Yeah. So in terms of number of questions, I think the cutoff seems to be a net correct of 16 in verbal, net correct of about 8 in slot 2 in DLR, and quant a net correct of about 10 to 12 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, GP, that's correct. And overall, if you are to make sense of this, last year the 99 percentile was, I think, 180.
Yes, close to 175, 177 actually.
177, so very close to 180. So very clearly you will see a drop of you're predicting a
About
drop
20.
of about at least 20 to 25 marks. About 10 drop. These drop will essentially come from either your DILR drop and the drop
Quant.
that is going to come from quant.
Yeah, typically
So,
the way it is coming out to be, quant seems to be dropping by about 5 to 6 questions, and DILR seems to be dropping by 1 to 2 questions. So which is coming to about a loss of about 20 marks in the morning slot and about 25 marks in the evening slot.
yeah. So
Okay.
this time, in terms of how the paper was set, I think IIM Bangalore decided that every single DI question would be something that's everyone is going to see for the first time. Okay, so this was.
That was not the case actually in the morning slot actually.
Oh
Morning
shit!
slot,
Okay.
morning slot was not that difficult, and as I said, though in terms of the attempts, morning slot seems to be ahead of the afternoon slot just by about a question. But my personal feeling was, and I get uh, beaten up by everyone on this issue very often. After I came out, I did not think that DILR was as difficult as everyone feels now. Okay, but okay, maybe my area of strength. Okay.
Yeah. So the point was it was at least there was an attempt to make the questions look deceptive. In the afternoon slot, at least there was an
Yeah.
attempt in CAT doing so. At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jijo, now we'll move to the question. Let me just see if there's some specific questions which are there. Okay, one more thing before we move to the question. Please fill up your data on careerlauncher.com/cat. It will help us and it will help you because you will know where you stand and how much effort you need to put in for the next paper. Let me just see what the questions are. Jijo, I'll keep checking out the question and you can keep adding wherever you want.
Okay. So there was a question in terms of the distribution 97, 95 percentile.
Yeah.
So I think the best estimate would be to wait for a couple of more days. You will keep inputting data. Every student will input the data.
You need not wait for a couple of more days. Morning slot, the percentile predictor is live.
Okay. So it's
The
already
afternoon slot would be live in about an hour or so. So please keep inputting your data and you can check your percentiles in about an hour or so.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so 18 questions in quant, I got the right. Okay, all these we can check out on the basis of the.
Most of you, your personal mark will come out. I think
Yeah.
there's a question
Those of
on
you, yeah, sorry to interrupt, Jijo. Those of you are looking for that I attempted so many questions, so many right, what percentile, the percentile predictor will take care of it. And as I said earlier, please go and input your data at this site, careerlauncher.com/cat. Check out the percentile predictor. Morning slot is live, afternoon slot is being worked on and should be live in about an hour. Okay, so I'll not take any question which is pertaining to what percentile will I get at this course. Okay, let me just look at the other question.
So one question says, TP, not sure of accuracy. How do we predict percentile predictor? Question.
One, we will be coming out with the expected with the memory-based paper shortly. It could take us some time because we are collecting it from a number of students. So if any one of you has questions, it would be helpful if you could email it to us, and then we can put it up. Okay, but apart from that, you will have to go by an estimate. Go by your estimate. Typically in mock-CATs, what is your accuracy? Based on that, put an estimate. At least you'll get a range in which your answer should percentile will be. Okay, let me see. Any other question? 8 question in DILR, okay for a cutoff. Yes, that is what we had said. I'll just repeat. About net correct in verbal of about 15 to 16 or 15 to 17 net correct. DILR for the morning slot about 9 net correct and the afternoon slot about 8. So this is about 7 to 8. This is about 8 to 9. Okay, and quantitative ability about 9 to 10 or 9 to 11 questions for the net, and these are net correct answers.
Was the third answer cannot be determined in coding decoding? I don't remember marking coding and decoding. Cannot be determined. Okay, I think I got. So I don't remember marking. We just check.
There's an interesting comment, Chijo, out here. Wrong analysis, wrong. You are considering yourself. Only your genius considers others also. I don't know where we have considered ourselves, and I don't think we are geniuses. We are talking about 8 to 9 here, 9 to 10 in quant, and 15 to 17 in verbal. I think these are fairly simple, and overall attempt about 65 to 70. So Sohit, I have a disagreement with you on this.
Yeah, of course. So basically, basically the unfortunate reality of it all is CAT looks for the top 99 percentile, 99, 95, 96 percentile. So in a pool of 2.5 lakh people taking the test, eventually 4,000 is going to make it to the top schools. That is the reality. You can't escape it. It's not a question of whether someone is a genius or not. It's a question of telling what is the score which will help someone get that kind of a percentile. So that is an attempt of this particular section, nothing else. Okay.
Okay, so most of the questions are talking about what percentile at what score, so I'm skipping them.
So there is a question on suggest a plan for SNAP and ZAT. SNAP is I think next
SNAP
week,
is on 18th.
18th, sorry. SNAP, I think you would find the paper to be easy. My suggestion would be to look at the past SNAP paper and make a plan. The challenge would be to solve as many questions as possible. Whatever preparation that you've done should be fine. The only extra area probably would be GK. But I don't know what best you can do the next 2 days, but if you are in the habit of reading newspaper regularly, it should be done. That is a different ball game. So you would have to quickly take care of the additional section, which is decision making. And barring that, mostly whatever you have studied would be enough. Is that will be of slightly higher difficulty level than the CAT. But then, of course, the number of questions, the cutoff will be much lower than the CAT. For example, out of the 30, 35 odd questions in quant, you probably will have to pick about 9 to 10 questions. It's a paper of selection. Just have to so it's a difficult test. It's a paper of selection. All the past papers are available, and I'm sure that from our end we'll be helping you through additional sessions for these exams as well.
Yeah, if I can just add, Jijo, SNAP, which is on 18th December, you have got just about 2 weeks with you. Because I'm sure you will not start working on SNAP now itself. You'll start it from tomorrow, maybe day after. First is GK compendium, has the IFT GK compendium, which is there. It is relevant for SNAP also. SNAP is more on current affairs, less on static, and it is current affairs of last 2 years. I've never been able to understand how is last 2 years current, but that's the way they call it. So that is what you have to definitely mug up. Secondly, old SNAP papers are available in your SAS, so please check out your SAS and make sure you attempt all the old SNAP papers, definitely last 5 years papers, and you do 5 mock SNAPs. If you do 4 to 5 mock SNAPs and the 5 odd papers of old SNAP papers, you will be fairly comfortable with the old paper. SNAP does not take too much time in terms of solving, but yes, the issue in SNAP is accuracy. And the other part where you could have a problem is the GK part. Secondly, last year's SNAP was excessively difficult, but I'm taking it as an aberration because most of the time it is reasonably easy. Okay, but if it becomes excessively difficult, all it means is last year the cutoffs went down significantly. They went down by about 20 odd marks, so that should not matter too much. Okay, but this is what you need to do for SNAP. And from old SNAP papers, definitely you should attempt all these reasoning questions. IFT and SNAP reasoning is somewhat similar. Okay, so there's a small change in the SNAP paper this time. Till last year, reasoning was 2 marks per question. This year it is 1 mark per question, and they've also changed the number of questions per section. There's a marginal change. Okay, but that's not important. Quant you will find to be very easy. English should be easy. Reasoning and GK are the 2 problem areas in SNAP most of the time. Yeah, Jijo, over to you.
Yeah, so sorry, I was picking another question. It says if we clear cutoffs in all, I mean just scrape through the cutoffs, then what would be the overall score in that case? Well, scraping through the cutoff is 85% everywhere. So the best that you'll reach is probably 90% overall. So you would need some section to help you. So
yeah.
So
85 will be about 88 to 90 percentile, not more than 90 percentile. So and similarly, if you are 95, you will possibly be about 98 percentile.
Yeah, so you would need one section where you can scrape through, but at least you will need some other section to actually pull your scores up. So
Yeah.
that would be required. That probably would be verbal, I think. I don't see that happening with DLR. Probably verbal and QA.
Okay. Shreyas, we will be giving the memory-based paper last year. As I said earlier, it is being collated. Okay. Okay. Sectional cutoffs we have already covered.
One more question for ZAT. I heard that GK is not included for ZAT evaluation. Is it true?
That's right.
Yes, it is true. So the paper is two parts. Part one is decision making, QA and verbal, and part two is GK and essay. In the initial evaluation stage, the second part is not evaluated. Your mark is solely based on, or the calls is solely based on this. And I don't know what they do with the GK mark also. That is, whether they ever evaluated something, I don't know.
Okay, just for the benefit of all of you, while we are expecting 99 percentile to be 155 to 60 or 150 to 155 in the first and second slots respectively, 90 percentile could be about 100 marks. Okay, so 95 to 100, it could be closer to 100 for slot 2 and about 95 marks for slot 1. So 90 percentile could be as low as this. Now, if you're looking for 95 percentile, that could be something like 120 marks or so. Okay. So and which is what you can check out in the percentile predictor.
Yeah.
Okay. We will be giving a separate plan for SNAP and ZAT in terms of the how you should work through it. Post will be uploaded on my blog also, gpkafunda.com, for SNAP as well as ZAT.
Yeah.
Anup is asking expected score for 99.5 percentile, about 175. 170, 175 will be very safe for 99.5 percentile. Now please understand, these are raw scores. The scale scores might differ slightly.
So when you start discussing about 99.5, 99.6, 99.9, we are actually looking at 0.001 percentage, 0.02 percentage, 0.2 percentage of the total test taking population. That score we can go haywire. I think that can even touch 99.9. People will start crossing 200.
Yeah, it's about 200. You will definitely be 99.99.
Yeah.
Last year 200. Last year at 190 odd, it was 99.5 percentile. So this year at 190 odd, you will be definitely 99.8 or 99.9.
Yeah. One of the things that you'll have to, one more thing is, one of the things that you have to decide is there are a lot of schools which takes the CAT score, and some of the deadlines I think is before the results of the CAT. So that's one decision that you have to make based on the score that you get in percentile predictor. The second and most important thing is if you're reasonably sure of getting a very good percentile and getting a call from at least a few B schools, you must seriously consider working on the second stage, which is PI and essay writing process. You can don't keep that towards the very end. Start working on it. Probably once the snap is done, mid-December time. So that's
Gija, there's a question Ayush has asked. Shall we mail Mr. Bundy, convener for CAT'16, for ambiguous question and symbol issues? Yes, you should definitely do that. Not only that, you should also mail those snapshots, which if you have been able to download it from the website or from Facebook, or the person who downloaded, who clicked the pictures and posted them. If you can do that, it will be helpful.
So the only thing that you must, the only advice that I have, only thing that I have to say is, whatever you're posting, ensure that this must be something that you got affected and you know you got affected. There is clear evidence of a malpractice somewhere. You post those. Don't do hearsay things, right?
Yeah.
So
there was symbol issue in your paper, you posted. If there was no symbol issue in someone else's paper, they should not post it.
Yeah. So So for example, in my test venue, somewhere actually I took the test in I think about 20 kilometers from Trivandrum in Kerala. So in my test venue, somewhere in the middle during QA, the power went off for about 40 seconds. The computer was still on, but obviously everything was pretty dark. It happened twice during the test. So it was a painful thing. That is something that must be reported because it affected me and the test taker there. That's something that I'll definitely do. So think about things that you want to report. If there is absolutely serious thing, then there must be action. Unless you don't raise it, how will they ever know? So obviously you must report these things.
So a couple of people are asking for SNAP 2015 paper. All SNAP papers will be available in your SIS. All CL students will get it. The others need to become a CL student to get them, or maybe borrow it from a CL student.
Okay, SNAP 2015 I think was not released, I think.
No, these are those. We have the memory-based paper which we had collected from students, and that will be available to all students.
Okay, yeah.
SNAP does not have sectional cutoff. Those of you asking for sectional cutoff in SNAP, SNAP just goes by the overall cutoff, but you should not get a 0 or negative in any section. If you get a 0 or negative in any section, then you are not considered. But no sectional cutoffs per se. Okay. Yes, we will be coming out for strategy for that, TIS and MyCat. Okay. So please stay connected to careerlauncher.com/cat.
Rishabh is asking, was the fourth answer 12 in coding decoding or was it 13? I remember scoring marking one of those. I can't tell which one is it. I'm really sorry. I think you just have to wait till the question paper gets created, uploaded, and then you'll get answer to this question.
Tips for NMAT last slot window, nothing. The tips are the same as for the first, second, and third slot. Please check the analysis of the snap of NMAT on the CL website and go by the strategy suggested there. You will not have a problem. Okay. Anything else? So if there's nothing else, Jijo, let's call it a day. And just to repeat, please put in all your data and check your percentiles at careerlauncher.com/cat. And very soon we'll put up the memory-based paper also at the same place. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you, Jijo.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Good night.
Bye. All the best.
It's been a long one. Let's be ready for the next battle.
Yes.
One battle at a time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Bye. Good night.